Hey everybody, Tyler with Bedford Camera and Video. In the studio today we have the highly anticipated, long-awaited Canon R5 Mark II. About 4 years ago, Canon made a big splash with the R5, was an immediate hit, and now we have the updated version of that here on the R5 Mark II. Now this is still a 45 megapixel sensor, but it's actually all brand new. Pretty much just the resolution is the only thing that's keeping it the same. So it's 45 megapixels, it's a fully stacked sensor, and on top of that, for reasons we will explain here shortly, is that this camera has the Digic accelerator processing built in. That's effectively a supercharging chip to help with other tasks that will be done in camera, like the advanced subject detection modes, upscaling, and in-camera noise reduction, just to name a few. You can shoot 45 megapixel images up to 30 frames per second, and there's a pre-continuous shot mode. So if you want to photograph something that's happening faster than you can react to it, put it in this pre-continuous shoot mode, and it will take a predetermined amount of images before you press the shutter. That way you know you have the shot. You have dual pixel intelligent autofocus, which will be incredibly helpful for those times where you need to photograph wildlife, sports, or vehicles. The new Digic accelerator chip supplements the Digic X processor by providing more power and calculation in certain uses. First, action priority has been added to the focus tab to allow you to have better focus on certain players in sports like soccer, volleyball, and basketball. People priority shooting is introduced as a way to register up to 10 frequently photographed faces, perfect for weddings, speaking engagements, and performing arts. For quick content creation or news gathering, set the R5 Mark II to dual shooting mode. This way you can record photo and video simultaneously. This gives you 33.2 megapixel stills up to 7.5 frames while getting full HD 30p video. And you'll notice this larger EVF on the back, which is very similar to what we're seeing on the Canon R3 and R1. This is a 5.67 million dot EVF, and it has the ability to utilize the latest version of Canon's well-known eye focus control. This way, when you're shooting something like a team sport, you can look at exactly the player you want it to focus on, and it will lock onto that person. It has a 3.2-inch vari-angle touchscreen like you're used to, and you're able to use CFexpress Type B cards and SD cards. Now, there are some interesting in-camera processing modes. The first is going to be an in-camera upscaling mode. So you select the image you want to upscale, and then you can go from a 45 megapixel image all the way up to a 179 megapixel image. This process takes about 10 seconds per image, but it's really neat because unlike pixel shift shooting where you have to plan the shoot, put it on a tripod or a stable surface, take those 8 to 32 images, then process it in software later, you can do that right now in the camera on demand. And a similar process is available for those of you shooting in high ISOs and you want to reduce the noise. You can do that in camera instead of taking it to a third-party software. For you video shooters, you can shoot 8K RAW video up to 60 frames per second, or 4K RAW video in their new SRAW mode, also up to 60 frames per second. You can also shoot 4K 120 frames per second video in 4:2:2 color space, as well as 240 frames per second in 2K video. Canon also implemented the same terminology found in Canon cinema cameras, so the video capture features will feel familiar. And with high quality video also comes with heat management. Now, Canon did something really interesting on this R5 Mark II. So you have an intake vent here on the bottom, as well as an out on the side here. Now, if that's not enough, especially for those of you shooting 8K 60 or 2K 240 frames per second, Canon has a grip available that has a fan built into it, so it will actively push that air through that channel and cool off your camera faster. For those of you using external monitors, the R5 Mark II has a full-size HDMI and the ability to shoot 4 channels of audio in the correct mode, as well as 24-bit audio. And for all of that power and processing, this does require a newer battery to accept all of those different modes, and this is the LP-E6P battery. You can of course use the LP-E6N or NH batteries in this camera, but you may lose some functionality. If you want to make the Canon R5 Mark II part of your kit, visit any of our physical locations or online at bedfords.com.